most intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. I'm your host, Olin, aka MMAnomaly, and with me, as always, is the co-host with the most, Jive Turkey Nano. How we doing, brother?
We are doing great. Very thankful this week. Happy early Thanksgiving to you, my fellow co-host here, brother. Let's go. Great vibes, man. Feeling good. Ready to get after it, man. Let's go. Ready to feast. Nobody cutting weight today, baby. No. We are bulking. It's bulk season. Making room for this this Thanksgiving holiday. You know, I'm eating clean, going into it nice and steady. But best believe, baby, saving extra room for all that extra fixins. Here we go.
All the fixins. So many fixins.
A lot of fixins. Great reference.
Talking about all the fixins. So with that being said, of course, we are going to go over a little bit of what we're thankful for, and especially which fights we're thankful for this year, and on this fight card specifically. And of course, when I say this fight card, I'm talking about UFC Fight Night Allen versus Craig, aka UFC Vegas 82. It was a banger of a card. Nano. I mean, so many great fights here. Which prelim do you want to start off at? I'm going to let you take the lead here.
I love it. And contrary to last time, I did actually was able to watch the full card and am a little bit prepared to talk about all of them. We can start at the very bottom here because I will say the start of this card here, UFC Fight Night in the Apex Las Vegas, starting off the card in the flyweight division. We had Charles Johnson squaring off against Rafael Estavam. And to my shock and to maybe most people's shock here, Estavam came out and had a very strong performance against a Charles Johnson, who I thought was going to be able to showcase a lot of his striking. Thought he was going to come out and maybe be a little bit more physical. That was not the case. Rafael Estavam, very, very strong in that first round, being able to mix up his martial arts, being able to chain down the wrestling, him up against the fence, some ground and pound. Really beautiful performance for those first 10 minutes. And then what you saw, and it's interesting when you look at the stats here, you would think that Charles Johnson maybe fared a little bit better, but no, don't let that 116 total strikes to 35 for Rafael Estavam fool you. It was all kind of a little too late, not enough too late, right? I forget how the expression goes, but that's how I'm going to say it here today. Just not enough, right? It's a little too late. I think that's how it went, right? Was that the JoJo song? Too little, too late. Banger. Great era. But again, I mean, I'm curious to hear your breakdown of it if you thought anything different. But yeah, just great finish. I wish Charles Johnson would have done that, for the first 10 minutes of the fight. But Rafael Estavam, man, great performance by him.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, buddy. Rafael Estavam, as you so eloquently said, he did a fantastic job, especially with that finish. I mean, come on. The guy, he did take quite a beating. Like, let's call a spade here. It was not a landslide victory for the young man, right? He ate 116 strikes. But I mean, like, come on. Rafael Estavam, he did the thing. It was an interesting fight, to be honest with you. I don't know. He shot 22 takedowns. and he landed 3 of them. Granted, he got some solid control there. I don't know. I have a hard time seeing how the guy that landed 35 total strikes got a win over a guy that landed 116.
There were a few questionable stoppages this card, unfortunately. And this was a tough one. Yeah, I mean, in regards to the strikes, Charles Johnson did land 54 in that last round. And to your point, I mean, 3 for 21. Estavam was 1 for 7 in the second round, and then 0 for 11 going into that last round. I mean, A for effort. I mean, you want to talk about gas tank cardio. This is Mirab type of Mirab type level, just not the success that he has at all. I gotta give him props for trying.
Yeah, I mean, A for effort, 100% for the guy. Hard to give him more than that. You know, I mean, he got the decision. Good for him. What's next? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's of the utmost important to me, if I'm being honest with you. But great job. I mean, Charles Energy Johnson is an absolute beast, in my opinion, and he went out there and he got it done over him. So good on him. Again, somewhat questionable decision in my humble opinion. But man, this next fight, very, very solid decision in my opinion. Ailin Perez got it done over Lucy Pudilova. Man, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this one, but I mean, from where I was sitting, from what I saw, it was pretty one-way traffic for the most part. And that post-fight celebration, though.
I mean, come on. She made a name for herself, right? As soon as I saw it, it triggered me, as that's how I know her. She's the twerk girl. I don't know her nickname, but it might as well be twerk lady. Ailin twerking on the cage, Perez. Yeah. I mean, in regards to the fight, absolute landslide. I mean, there's not much to it. I mean, you could look at the tape. You could look at the numbers here. Still similar in regards to the takedown, right? 2 out of 8, landing at a 25% clip there. Landed twice as many significant strikes. And even though she did get a little beat up there, she was wearing it a little bit with her eye, which I guess she came in with that. I believe I remember hearing some of the post-fight scrums. She said she got clipped going into it, had a little bit of that shiner, didn't notice it. Too busy, watching the twerking probably, but no, great performance by her. That eye was obviously very visible. I give her props for still going in there and fighting with that considered. But maybe it's time for her to, I mean, take that next step, right? I mean, you're making a name for yourself with the twerking, and I don't know if you saw, they actually clipped it to a kid right before that. Cute little, maybe 3 or 4 year old boy, clean cut, excited that he just saw a fight. And then it cuts to the next clip, and it's Ailin Perez corrupting this young child. And, that's when that young boy became a man. So I always love seeing that happen. And, in regards to what's next, I mean, hard to play fight matcher at this stage, but I would love to see her get in there quick. I mean, get healthy, get that eye recovered. But, hey, maybe UFC 300 or maybe 299. I know there's some big fight cards coming up here. Love to see her get back in and start to make a name for herself, because some good momentum here and a good outing. What were your thoughts about that? I mean, kind of already covered it, but excited to see what's next for the twerkathon. I'm trying to think of a good name here to incorporate the twerking, but love the booty shaking, Ailin Perez.
So Ailin Perez is an absolute beast. Again, the post-fight celebration is just chef's kiss, cherry on top, as they say. She could be an actual threat for the bantamweight division, but that is something that, is yet to be seen. We have to see her against higher level opposition than Lucy Pudilova and the likes of who she's faced thus far. That being said, I think they should have the battle of the butts, and it should be Norma Dumont versus Ailin Perez. And also, I gotta say, 2 things. 1, shout out to Ash. at the Against the Fence podcast, who's in the chat right now. Thanks for being here, brother. Appreciate you. And he also just let us know in the chat that was her son that the camera panned to. Nano. So, yeah.
Well, a little different about that now.
Good to know. Yeah.
Like, what's mom doing?
That was her son.
What are those dance
Fantastic.
moves? And the coach's dance moves.
Probably seen her. He's seen her practicing before.
That's fair. That's fair.
So again, it's got to be Eileen Perez versus Norma Dumont. Battle of the backsides. And also, again, the second thing that I wanted to say, other than shouting out Ash here in the chat, is this. Okay. There are some fighters that have very obvious walkout music options. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's ever been a more obvious song staring you right in the face than "Come on, Eileen, come on, Eileen." Like, come on,
Great
Eileen
song.
Perez.
It's a great anthem. That's a great anthem. Absolutely.
It's so good.
Or as Lauren Sanko would say,
fantastic.
Something dump truck related. I know there's some rap songs referencing some dump trucks, and that battle, like you mentioned, against Norma Dumont would be a dump truck battle. So
it would. She used that adjective.
Just
dump
quoting
truck.
Laura Sanko. Just quoting our UFC
about
commentator.
Norma Dumont.
Yeah, her words, not mine. So we're just referencing it.
That being said,
just paraphrasing.
Moving into the next one, Jika Saragi versus Lucas Alexander. I can't honestly tell you that I knew both of these guys coming into this fight, but boy, I'll be paying attention moving forward. Considering it lasted less than 2 whole minutes, it was just a crazy knockout on, of course, the side of Jika Saragi. My guy, Nano, what did you think of that? I believe it was a debut.
Is it? At 28 years old, Saring making his UFC debut. Love to see it. And what a freaking way to debut. I mean, my goodness, you want to talk about like a home run at your first at bat in the major leagues. This is what it was here. Saring had me saying, oh my OMG. I mean, that knockout that he had on our boy here, it was tough. You know, I mean, they were going back and forth, had a little bit of a scrum. They even kind of like stalemated each other as Lucas Alexander was on the ground, kind of got back up to his feet, chased him down, stalked him, and then Saring hit him with that 1-2, sat him down, literally sat him down up against the fence. And it was weird because his eyes, he looked like he was still there, Lucas Alexander, that is. And then once Saring hit him with a couple, 1, 2, go to sleep. That picture, that narrative, his lights went out real quick. Let's just say that. Great performance, great execution there. It was, I mean, just all violence, right? It was 2 men going in there after each other, both 28-year-olds looking to make a name for themselves and try to get on the winning track. And boy, that was a great stoppage. I mean, that dude has some hands, nuclear power. I mean, to be that close and to put someone out like that, I was very impressed. What are your thoughts, brother? That hook, it'll get you.
I mean, let's be honest. As they say, it's a tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, Beauty and the Beast. They also say the same thing about Left Hook Larry making an appearance at the UFC event. But something you haven't heard super often is Left Hook Larry's got a cousin, folks. Right Hook Ricky. And it was Right Hook Ricky who started that one off. It was nasty. Started it off, and I mean, that's all she wrote, folks. It was a beautiful, wasn't a debut. I don't know if you saw, I did type a correction into the chat here. He has actually fought once before this in the UFC. It was against Anshul Jubli, and he actually lost that fight against him via ground and pound in round 2. But my goodness, he put it on Lucas Alexander. Not going to play matchmaker for him because I think we'd be getting way into the weeds here. We need to slow roll this guy. He's not a top 15. He's not even really a top 25 guy yet. Or again, this is yet to be seen, right? So that being said, we're going to go ahead and move into the next fight. But something I am going to shout out a couple of times in this episode here, guys, is we do have a giveaway going on, and all we want you to do is in the comment section after the video is done, leave a comment telling us either your favorite moment of this episode or your favorite UFC fight of the year. We will be picking a winner at random. That winner will receive a Meat and Potatoes Striker shirt which of course has the meat and potato striker himself on the back.
Look at that thing. Perfect for the holidays.
Perfect for the holidays. We have it in both tank top and t-shirt variations. So again, all you have to do is be subscribed to the channel, leave a comment in the comment section after this episode is done. If you want extra entries, go to backlogged episodes and comment on those episodes. Let us know what your favorite fighter or favorite fight of the year is thus far. So again, moving into the next fight, we had Mick Parkin going against Cal Machado. I think we can probably skip this one. It was a pretty, low pace, drag out kind of decision. What were your thoughts here, Nano?
Yeah, agreed. Bit of a lackluster heavyweight matchup here, which, when you get into the unranked categories at this division, it's a toss up, right? It's guys that anyone has a puncher's chance, and frankly, it was a little sloppy at times, but yeah, I think we can keep it moving. I mean, Mick Parkin came out with the victory there, edged it out over Cal Machado. But yeah, I mean, some other good fights here we can break down because there's some exciting finishes to discuss.
So moving into the next fight, we will definitely talk about this one. We had Dennis Tulin. Tailuluin? I'm just kidding. Dennis Tulin coming in against Christian Leroy Duncan. Leroy Duncan, not to be confused with Leroy Jenkins. However, how he went out there and got that finish, kind of Leroy Jenkins. My guy, what were your thoughts on that fight?
Exactly that, man. I mean, our boy Lee Duncan here was definitely Leroy Duncan, I should say, excuse me. Only needed 2 rounds to take care of business here of Denise. I'll just stick with the first name because that last one is a bit troublesome. My goodness, my voice going away. But yeah, Christian Leroy Duncan throwing spinning back fists. I mean, it looked strong in the clinch all around. I mean, great performance for as long as it lasted. And then was able to put him away with that left hook, man. Mr. Larry, that thing comes a knocking. Only one thing's left, and that's you hitting the canvas. So yeah, great performance, great outing by him. I think he was the favorite here as well going into it. So Vegas knew what they were doing. Beat a tough Russian guy. That's a great feather in the cap. Anything stood out to you though, brother, in his performance here?
Biggest thing that stood out to me was probably, I mean, like you said, the spinning attacks were on full display. Let's just call a spade here. The elbows looked absolutely surgical in that match from him. I mean, what else is there to say? Left hook Larry, elbows, follow-ups when there needed to be follow-ups, showing patience when there needed to be patience, not rushing in like an animal smelling blood in the water. I thought the young man looked very poised, and I'm excited to see what's next for him. Christian Leroy Duncan, again, he damn near outlanded his opponent 3-1. When it comes to significant strikes, he outlanded him a little over 2-1. Went 0 for 2 on takedowns, but if I'm being honest, I don't really feel like he was 100% committed to those takedowns. They were more just to keep his opponent on his toes and make him not pay as much attention as he should to those strikes. Again, man, what a fight. And also another thing I got to mention is, folks, shout out to Nano with that light in the background. So sick, dude. I love to see it.
Let's go. Thank you, brother. I'm going to have to dish out that shout out. We're both going to combine our shout outs and throw it out to Amy, the fiance, the hostess with the mostest. Spoil me on my birthday. A little Jive Turkey. Can't really see it there. It is lit up, but it does say Jive Turkey over there. In case I ever forget my name and I need to turn around, Jive Turkey's in town, baby. And I will admit it took a while to find that light setting, but I think that's the one that'll stay for now. There's like probably 100 different settings. I like this one. Switching it up. Don't stare too long, ladies and gentlemen. You'll get mesmerized.
I really, really, really dig that.
Really Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
So yeah, shout out to you. Shout out to the fiance. And man, love to see it. Moving into the next one, I don't think we're going to pay matchmaker for this guy. The middleweight division is stacked with a capital S. We got Miss Mary in the chat saying that's awesome. Definitely going to have to get a link from you on that, Amy. Wink, wink.
We'll be talking.
we'll be in touch. I'll have my people contact your people. So again, moving into the next fight, we had Chad Annaler coming in against Jose Johnson. Man, this one was a very interesting fight, in my opinion. Again, like, it was pretty one-way traffic for the most part. Like, let's again call a spade here. 141 strikes compared to 47. But 63 to 26. I mean, again, like, yeah, like it was bad, right? But somehow Chad was able to land 4 of 8 takedowns. And he kept himself in this fight throughout the entirety of the duration of the bout, which is crazy to me because the man was just eating big shots. I personally was impressed with his resilience. More so, I was impressed with Jose Johnson's ability to constantly move forward and also stay out of the way of his opponent. I mean, he made his opponent miss over half of his strikes while also landing over 70% of his own strikes. That's not an easy feat for those of you that have not trained. Like, that's incredibly impressive, incredibly hard to do. So, again, I was very, very impressed with Chad's resilience. I was more so impressed with Jose Johnson's accuracy and finesse, I think would probably be the best adjective I can use for it. What were your thoughts on that one, man?
I love that. Yeah, definitely a lot of tenacity, definitely a lot of ferocity, I felt like, too. Right from the jump, it just felt like Jose Johnson was a madman out there. He demanded the center of the octagon. He was the stronger guy. He was like threatening in every position he was in, whether it was in the clinch, trying to get the neck if he kept it exposed. Just really felt like he kept Chad on his back feet. And like you mentioned, I mean, Chad Allen Heiger, I mean, what a dog. I mean, someone that can dig deep like that. You got someone that's walking in front of you, that's trying to walk you down, that's throwing up these submissions. You know, you're trying to take him down. You're 4 for 8, but this guy's landing 70% of his punches on it. Ends up 141 in 15 minutes. I mean, that's phenomenal, right? And you know, Chad had his chance in that first round. There was some scrambling on the ground. Can't talk too much at a high level, or I guess I can talk at a more high level what it was. Can't break it down for you too much more than just Jose Johnson looking slick, like you said, very agile, very smooth, and was just one step ahead, able to get out of some reversals, and was able to just, again, continue making Chad miss and kind of landslided him there to a victory, and almost needed the full 15 minutes. But again, in that third round, able to find that submission, which very impressive. Again, the whole time it felt like it was just a matter of time before he found it. So really impressed by the way he was able to put it together in there. It was a fun fight.
Incredibly fun fight. Again, to echo exactly what you said, very impressed with the way that he was able to put it together in there, right? And speaking of being incredibly impressed by somebody being able to put some things together, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Joanderson Brito with one of the comebacks of the century here, folks. My goodness, he was going in there against, was it JSP is what they call this guy, Jonathan Pierce? My goodness, come on. This young man was putting the heat on Joanderson Brito, but Joanderson Brito, man, he does not know the definition of the word quit. And the submission that he put on this guy, you know, some people may have watched that and be like, oh, guillotine or guillotine, however you pronounce it. Don't care. It wasn't either of those. It was a fucking ninja choke, and it was incredible. It was a variation of that. So come up, slice around the top, push down on the back. It was beautiful. It was brilliantly done. Stunningly executed. The timing on it was, I mean, I don't think it could have been better. He made his opponent go 1 for 4 on takedowns, and I mean, he made him pay, right? He only attempted one submission that entire fight, and boy, did he make it count. Nano, be honest with the viewers. Did you think it was a guillotine?
I couldn't tell, brother. I guess I did in a way, right? Based on maybe the initial angle, but and again, I'm not a specialist on the ground, so guillotine, submarine, Quarantine, Constantine. I could have been any teen. I could have been like, all right, cool. That looks right to me. So yeah, I'm probably more of a noob when it comes to that realm, but impressive nonetheless, brother. And like you said, I mean, the way he was able to slip it in, and I guess let's just even back up here like a couple steps to even throw that in a fight, right? I mean, to have that in the arsenal, maybe just step one, knowing that's in my chamber. Two, you throw that up in a fight on a whim like that. I mean, during a scramble, you know, and in a way you can argue, I mean, you're losing the fight in terms of significant strikes, in terms of accuracy, in terms of just even looking at using the eyeball, the litmus test. He was down going into that second round. Maybe he felt that a little bit. Maybe he just felt like he was, an opportunistic guy. Maybe he found that flow state where, again, everything slowed down and he just was able to sleep right in there. And like I said, textbook, hand on the shoulder, tapping him like, hey, go ahead and good night. You did the best you could, brother, but I got you. The anaconda has sunken in. And yeah, what a stud, Anderson Brito. These Brazilians, man, I guess we shouldn't doubt their ability to come and continue to impress us or add new ways to get victories, man. But yeah, that was over. My boy JSP, Jonathan Pierce, the guy I led off with last week talking about. I did pour up my shot because I'm a man of my word, and well, I was wrong about it. So, Anderson Brito, you earned my respect, brother. And hey, hell of a performance. He did earn performance of the night. Much deserved, man. Salud. I don't know if you have yours ready too, but shot. I'll wait.
I was going to say, hold on to that shot. We don't do them alone here.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And yeah, hard to play matchmaker again when, these guys are unranked, when, sky's the limit and there's a lot of studs, especially in the featherweight division. But hey, great statement for him. And certainly sky's the limit for him. So I'm excited to see what's next.
I know you're right about it.
I know.
Cheers, brother.
Fatality.
Salud. That's me.
Woo. Good times. Oh man, that was honestly a really great fight though. And before we move on, again, we're not going to play matchmaker for this one, but I think again we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about it. Even though Jonathan Pierce didn't win this fight, fucking 84.4% accuracy clip.
Talk about sniper.
Threw less than 100 strikes and landed 81. What?
Sniper. Like Chris Kyle.
The definition. Hands. The definition of a sniper. 81 out of 96. 14 out of 16 significant strikes. When the man wanted to throw hard, he landed. When the man wanted to throw, he pretty much fucking landed.
It was a good first round.
It was fantastic.
It was great until it wasn't.
It was going well. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
That's why you love the sport, baby.
That is why we love the sport. Can we talk? I mean, I feel like we have to talk about it, but we don't need to talk a ton about it, but we'll talk about it. There's an elephant in the room here. Uros, the Dr. Medic against Miktabek Orobai. My goodness, this was a fun fight. This was a fun fight for all it was. But I mean, again, there's an elephant in the room here. 9 minutes and 12 seconds of fighting, and there was only 63 strikes total thrown. These men were playing very, very hesitant games, in my humble opinion. What were your thoughts on the fight, Nano? I'll let you take the lead here.
Appreciate it, brother. This was a fun fight to kickstart the main event, the main card here for the fight night at welterweight division. Meek Tebek was making his UFC debut. He actually had a very strong, a very impressive performance, a knockout in a previous league that he was in. There's exchanging freaking left hand uppercut from behind. Oh, dude, from the backhand. Oh yeah. And put the dude to sleep. I mean, unconscious. It was phenomenal. So dude came in with a lot of hype, and Uros, the medic, came out and was surgical in that first round. Hit him hard with some heavy shots. I mean, had him up against the fence. That's how Meek Tebek was looking out there, man. I mean, the medic was putting it on him. I thought he was going to be out there at one point. But Oralabai, I mean, this guy is built different, man. Fighting out of Kyrgyzstan, this guy, man, I mean, out of nowhere, next thing you know, he channeled some sort of a Khabib. This guy went into Khabib mode. not in the sense of the dominance, but in terms of the style when it came to the wrestling, when it came to just that kind of light on your foot, almost Muay Thai, but it's like a jerky kind of style. He's walking forward, he's jerky. I'm changing levels. Am I going to shoot? Am I going to shoot? No, I'm going to jab you. Okay, I'm going to go down, shoot, jab.
I call those herky jerk fighters.
Herky jerky, bro. And it reminded me of Khabib because the next thing you know, he's 7 for 10 for takedowns. And again, this fight only lasted 5 minutes. 6 minutes total, excuse me, before he was able to get the medic out of there in the second round. But that first round, he went 5 for 8 on his takedowns, only needed to throw 6 strikes, but that was all it requires. Because again, when you're just able to apply that kind of pressure, that to me was the Dagestani way. Not as dominant as a Khabib or an Islam, but it's this pressure, this way that makes the fighter look like they're in quicksand. I mean, taking away your limbs, like just cornering you up against the fence, and it's relentless pressure. No matter what you do, you get halfway up, you get a knee up, he's on you. You get all the way back up on the fence, he's going to trip you and take you right back down. It was, I mean, just purely relentless. So, very impressive performance. We didn't talk about him too much going into this fight. Frankly, we didn't know about him. But although his name is hard to say, we're going to have to get used to it because we might be hearing a lot about him here in this welterweight division. Anything else that stood out to you, though, brother? Uh-oh, you muted? I don't know if I can hear you. Uh-oh.
There we go. Sorry about that. Fucking amateur hour, folks. My God. Ay. Getting rocked over here about my own technology. So we are back. Sorry about that. As I was saying, or as I was trying to say when I was effing muted, Euros, the doctor medic, folks. The guy looked absolutely surgical out there. When he wanted to land, he was landing, or so it seemed in that first round. And my God, there were so many times I stood up and I looked at the TV and I yelled, "Holy!" I thought it was going to end. I thought it was over. But Miktabek, he's an absolute beast. The man withstood those shots that he did get dealt, and he came away with the submission. I mean, the guy is incredibly strong. Let's again call a spade here, folks. What else is there to say? The guy's an absolute beast. He's fighting out of Kyrgyzstan, and I mean, he's got 6 TKO wins. He's got 5 submission wins. And he's on quite a run right now, to be completely honest. He hasn't lost in quite some time. I think it might be time for the top 15 for this kid. Euros Medic is no pushover, and he didn't even get him with a traditional submission, folks. Like, I called this out whenever me and Mayor was watching this. It wasn't even a guillotine. It wasn't even an actual bulldog choke, in my opinion, or anything like that. It was a neck crank. Like, he just big brothered him. It wasn't under the chin. He just basically threatened to break this man's neck. And, you know, the other guy's nickname is the Doctor. So he's a doctor, okay? He knows what's going to happen. If he doesn't tap, he's going to die or be paralyzed. So, yeah, he tapped out. Again, what's next for Miktabek? I think either the top 15 or right outside of the top 15 has got to be next for this guy. I don't necessarily have a name on the tip of my tongue here. Do you have a name on the tip of yours there, Nano?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I like how you call out that top 15. I think that's a great place. At least top 20. I mean, top 25 for sure. I know this was his first fight in the UFC, but the man looked absolutely phenomenal. And sitting there at 15, just recently added Renat Fakhretdinov. That would be a fun matchup, you know, if we're going to do a card somewhere outside of the U.S., put those two studs on there. Or Michael Chiesa. I mean, someone else. I mean, stylistically, that's not good for Michael, but this guy's a problem. I don't know who's going to want to sign up for this fight after that performance. But I do like that. Maybe Renat. He just got in there, just got that 15 on his name.
Ooh, fuck, Retinov. That's a fun fight, man. How do you think that one would go?
Man, I mean, the wrestling game's different, man. And this guy, Orolabai, looks very strong. Although, Renat has some heavy hands. I mean, if you're going to let anybody string together a combination on you, I mean, Renat's going to find a way to put your lights out. So, I'm hoping to see some improvements from Orolabai and his striking defense, but for now, man, I mean, the wrestling game is next level. I always got to lean the wrestler in that sense. So I expect it to be a tough puzzle match, maybe similar to Renat's last fight, where it was basically almost a draw, or I guess it was. But competitive, man. It'll be a banger.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that one would definitely be a banger. And I think that that's a pretty solid matchup. I feel like those two guys actually match up really, really well against one another. Speaking of people who match up really well against each other, my God, my goodness, good gracious. Luana Pinero versus Amanda Heos was a fight for the ages. Holy smokes. Whoa.
Yeah, those women were throwing leather. And I love the commentator group. Shout out Dominic Cruz, Felder. I forget the main guy. I'm blanking now. I hate to do it, but what a crew. And they mentioned that they used to be training partners before this, and no glove touch before the fight. So there was some animosity, man. What a fun one. What were your thoughts on it, brother? What were your feelings? I mean, what were you thinking? I mean, what a fun one, huh?
I got to tell you, man. This upcoming, like, what was it, like a week, just a week before Thanksgiving? Boy, we were eating good. We were eating real freaking good, folks.
Hell yeah, we were feasting.
As fight fans, we were eating it up. So I personally thought that was a fantastic showing for both women, right? Like, Luana Pinero was a freaking beast out there, okay? She threw 120 strikes. She landed 56. Okay. But Amanda Heos is basically a fucking Terminator. She's like a T-9000 in there, folks.
She's a definition of a dog. She's a definition of a dog.
She was built by Skynet, son. Like, she's literally a machine. And the reason I say that is the woman threw 234 strikes. 234 strikes. That is insane, bro. Like, just an absolute beast, right? And by the way, 224 of them were significant strikes. So 224 hard strikes. I advise every single person listening to this to go outside tomorrow when there's daylight out, because right now it's dark out. And when it's dark out, it's dangerous. I don't want to put you guys in danger. When it's daylight out, though, go outside and just throw 224 freaking hard strikes. Okay? Doubt it. It's just not going to happen. And try and do that in less than 14 minutes. Ridiculous. And also, then imagine being punched 55 times very, very hard, and kicked and kneed in the face. Dude, she was getting lit up on the feet in the first round. And I think the thing that really shocked me and impressed me the most, both at the same time, was, man, the fact that Amanda Heos just continued to march forward through the strikes. It was absolutely insane. I don't understand, man. I mean, it was just absolutely beast mode. Love to see it. I don't know what else there is to say about it other than the fact that it was absolutely incredible to witness.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with you, brother. Luana was throwing everything she possibly had in those punches. I mean, throwing fundamentals out the wind. I mean, that was out the door. She said, I just want to hurt this girl. She stole my lunch money. She was sleeping with my man. I want to go on World Star. This was like a bar street brawl, it felt like, man. And I do got to say, if anybody is ever questioning or wants a definition of what a significant strike is, it was what Luana was throwing in this entire first round, because she was 25 for 25 strike, all significant. And if you watch every single punch thrown, they looked exactly like that. Those were significant punches. And Amanda Heos, to be able to take those, I mean, her eye was swollen from the jump. Her eye was leaking blood by the second minute of that first round, and just continuing to take it, step back, right back in the pocket. She still landed 19 punches of her own on that first round. And then she came back, double down on that 40 in the second, And then another 37 to finally put her away in that last round, which by then you can tell Luana, unfortunately, I was going to try to reference a machine that was built out of gas, and she ran out of the gas, man. Her electrical unit was not built to last there. She doesn't have that Energizer Bunny. Tough crowd. It's a live show, all right? You can't win them all, okay? I didn't have time to prepare my jokes, so cut me some slack, y'all. Or roast me in the comments, whatever works. Thank you. Yeah, that's more like it. But again, Luana, I mean, you can tell she was showing everything in that first round, and I think she realized after that, okay, Amanda's not going anywhere, and I don't have any cardio anymore. So that second round, I mean, death by 1,000 cuts, Amanda's just pepping her. And then that last round, she finally realized, okay, I can smell the blood here. I think she hit her with like a high leg kick to the face or to the head. And that's what got Luana wobbly and basically down and out. And that was the beginning to the end. So absolutely marvelous performance by Amanda Heos. This is the type of girl we were hoping to see. Again, my only concern was that, can we see this consistently, right? We know she could take a punch. We know she's an absolute dog. And we know she could dig freaking deep. That's exactly what she did this past Saturday. If anybody needs, like, this was a career fight, in my opinion. Like, this was perfectly summarizes her career. Weather that early storm, find a way to freaking bounce back and dig deep and get that freaking victory and put her out and do it in an exciting fashion and earn yourself 50K. I mean, this is why she's still here. This is why I'm excited to do this shot, even though I did think Luana, like most people, when you hit someone with that much force and that big of a punch, usually they don't stick around, but not anyone's Amanda Heos. So I got my shot ready here. I don't know if you want to partake as well. I mean, this was my bad. You did have you were right about it. Man, hey man, you know a dog when you see one. I mean, that T9000, man, they don't mess around, brother. So sky's the limit for her. She is ranked. I mean, maybe we could kind of look at a little bit of matchmaker here, and while you're pouring up the shot, let me look at the rankings and see if she's got updated. She did get
the shot's already poured. The shot is already poured. Folks, I just want everybody to remember, okay? I want everybody to remember this when I get a few wrong and I'm stuck doing shots, okay? Nano, you better be here with me.
Hey man, I got you, brother. That's what we do. We're in this together.
Cheers, brother. Another one.
Cheers.
Brutality.
I got a fun name though. Amanda Heos versus Marina Rodriguez.
Dude, I thought you were seriously saying Amanda Heos versus Amanda Heos. I was like,
it is a grudge match. It is a grudge match. They did fight back in 2021, but man, rubber match, that's a fun one. Why not? Amanda wants that back. She earned that, right? Is this something that you see?
It was Amanda Heos versus
Marina Rodriguez. Rematch 2. It would be number 2. 7 versus 9.
I'm pretty sure it's Marina Rodriguez. You know, I got to call you out on that.
Oh no! Double down on it.
No!
Damn.
Oh no!
What a guy!
So Marina Rodriguez, that was a great fight the first time around. I'm here to see it a second time around. I'm not mad about it. Now here's the thing. I do think that fight would possibly play out differently the second time around. The question is, do we need to see it a second time around? And also, the big question is Marina Rodriguez willing to take it right now?
It feels like her trajectory is going up a little bit more, huh?
It does, yeah. And I feel like she's not going to be willing to fight down. There is another name that I'm not really mad about, and man, it's somebody that's never not willing to take a fight downward. You know who I'm going to say here. Talking Jessica Andrade. I think that'd be a really, really fun fight. Jessica Andrade versus Amanda Heos.
Wow.
A little Brazil on Brazil violence. You know what I'm talking about, folks. Come on. No, but seriously, I actually really like yours. I think Marina Rodriguez is a really, really fun matchup. It is one that we've already seen, but I'm here to see it again.
And to your point, that is fresh. Tough. I like it. I mean, it's different. I will say though, like to your point, and me even just Gondra, I was like, I don't know if she'll go down that far as well. She did just beat Mackenzie Dern sitting there at 8. But you know, someone that, and you were saying it, always saying yes to a fight. This girl I'm about to say just fought 4 times in the last 7 months. We've been talking about her recently. Maybe you give them both a little break, but maybe you square them off. What about a Lupi Godinez? Little Lupita. I don't know if I'm feeling loopy here. Maybe all these shots are getting to me now. I'm a little hot and flustered, but that feels like a good one as well. That could be a main event.
Because we are all about to win as fight fans.
Main card. Hell yeah. That is strikers galore.
That's a fun fight. That's a fun fight.
That might be the one.
That's a fun fight, folks. Let us know in the chat who you think would win that fight. And I mean, if you think that that's a fight that would make a lot of sense. Speaking of fights that make a lot of sense and fights that, you know, don't really make a lot of sense. We had your cousin here, Nick Agir, coming in against Peyton Talbot. And man, I'll be honest with you. I didn't know if the kid was worth believing in. And I'm talking about Peyton Talbot, obviously. He's a young one. He's a very, very young one, folks. He's 25 years of age, born in 1998. God darn, that makes me feel extremely old. I didn't know if he was ready for the big show. I mean, granted, I know he's been on the Contender Series. He got that decision win, unanimous decision win over Reyes, Cortez. And before then, let's call a spade here, folks. That's what we do on the show. It's no filter. He was a 3-time winner on Uriah Faber's A1 Combat. Shout out to Ben the Bane Davis on the microphone on that show live. Come on, folks. I thought the kid was young. I didn't know if it was worth believing in him, but man, again, I'll admit when I was wrong. Okay, and I was wrong. The man he's a stud. He went out there and he got it done. He got the RNC classic choke, classic rear naked choke there. Made it look absolutely brilliant. I don't think we should give him anybody ranked quite yet. Maybe somebody right outside of the top 25, because bantamweight's a pretty stacked division, and this kid's pretty big for bantamweight from what it seemed in that fight anyways, unless maybe they had him fighting a midget in comparison. Like, he looked pretty long in that fight. Nano, what were your thoughts, man, tagging you in?
Appreciate it, brother, but don't appreciate you calling my cousin a midget. Let's put some respect on his name there. Thank you very much. No, he's not my cousin, y'all. He's not my cousin. I shouldn't put out that narrative, but we do have the same last name. He could be a fellow Jive Turkey as well. Who knows? But yeah, man, I mean, all things considered, Nick Agir did shock me, to be honest. I mean, I think most people thought Talbot was just going to go in there and dog walk him, but us Agiris, come on, we go down swinging. Right? We ain't chop liver, okay? We're gonna make you earn it, and he really did make Peyton Talbot earn every bit of that. This was a great welcoming party for Peyton. Had a fightable adversity. I mean, my cousin Nick Agir here, my adopted cousin, I should say. 2 for 10 for takedowns, and that was really the narrative early on. Didn't want to stand too long with someone like Peyton Talbot out there. With that, as young as he is, still has very good power, very athletic, very skilled. So not somebody you want to just sit there and be a sitting target for. So what do you do with someone like that? You mix him up, you frustrate him, you throw some leg kicks, you rip the body, you shoot, you muddy it up, you make him fight an uncomfortable fight, something that he's not used to doing. And again, Mr. Agir did a great job of doing that for the most part, as long as he could. But when you're that talented, when you're that strong, when you can land with power and purpose at any given time, someone like Peyton Talbot, again, showed a lot of great tools in this fight, and sky's the limit for this kid, man. Again, he was able to weather the storm. And what I mean by that is, even though he was getting taken down, even though he had to be a little frustrated and kind of settle in some of those controlled positions, he did not make mistakes. He did not overexert himself, and he still found a way to stay focused and to get to a submission finish here, which maybe most people thought he was probably going to knock him out. But hey, he let us know I could submit people as well. I still have that in the toolbox as well. A little bit deeper in the box, but it's there. So exciting win for him. And yeah, man, sky's the limit for the kid. Hard to say what's next for him. I mean, again, yeah, when you look at that top 15 for the bantamweight division, where my boy Sugar, we are in the Sugar era. But yeah, I mean, 15 is Said Nurmagomedov, 14 is Chris El Guapo Gutierrez. I mean, these are murderers. I don't think you throw them into the lion's den just yet. But anybody in the top 25, I think, can get it. Absolutely. Excited for the kid, though.
Yeah, I'm super excited for the kid, man. He's super young, super up and coming. Speaking of super young and super up and coming, this next fight was one that I called to be one of the fights of the night here. And man, I don't even remember who our shots were on.
I think if we're talking about the Dreamer
Chase
here,
Hooper versus Jordan Levit here.
Yep. We're talking about the Dreamer, Chase Hooper, and Jordan Levit. I think I actually had it on Levit because I was doubtful.
I think you did.
I'll be honest. I was doubtful. I know so. I'm being modest. I know so. I know for a fact that's what happened. I know. We have the receipts.
I think you did. I think you did. I'm going to let you actually take the lead. I want to hear your thoughts on kind of. I thought this was possibly one of the funner grappling fights I've seen in a very, very long time. Curious to hear your thoughts on this in general, though.
It really was. It really was. It was a fun grappling match. And obviously every fight starts on your feet. And for the initial exchange, I mean, Jordan looked good. Yeah, he was able to hit Chase with some power. And Chase, didn't like that. So he figured, okay, let me go ahead and get him to the ground and muddy it up. Actually, I think what ended up happening was Jordan was the one that initiated things to go to the ground. And that's where Chase said, okay, well, let's dance then. And then once it was there, I mean, it was like trying to read a second language. I wish we had Mad Max Meridian here to break it down a little bit further for us, because he is more of the ground expert here in our community. But yeah, I mean, fun fight. Both guys, I mean, scrambling, reversing, getting into unique positions, heel hooks, arm bars. I mean, anything that you could think of was basically thrown, or they were in a position to reference that. But Chase Hooperman was able to find a way, wiggle his way, I would like to say there, to a submission, and was able to lock it up. Ultimately, it just felt like he was able to use that length that he has. He has been grown into his frame. He is now a lightweight, and he looked good. I mean, I think he's because he's been fighting in the UFC for so long, and I mean, as you get older, you get that maturation. You get comfortable with your body, and I think he's starting to get comfortable at this new frame, carrying this weight, going in there against bigger guys, and obviously the striking needs to develop. But I do feel that, hey, if you're that good on the ground, I mean, that's a problem. No one's going to want to get you there, and the rest will come. That's I guess the way I would look at it. And if I were him, and again, he's 23, 24. I heard him say he's a dad, which is crazy. I mean, still looks like a baby to me. But congratulations to him and his significant other. And yeah, it was able to just outclass Jordan Levit. I mean, it was a fun ground performance there. Curious to hear your breakdown, or if you have any future plans for our boy Chase Hooper here. But what do you think, man, as I pour my shot?
Well, as you pour your shot, I gotta say, in the words of our guy, fucking, was it? I believe the great Nate Diaz, who once said, "I'm not surprised, motherfucker," and I'm not. I really am not surprised, motherfucker. I feel like this was a pretty solid win here for Chase Hooper. I feel like it was a huge win, if I'm being completely honest, for the Askren family. And you know what I'm saying here? Like, we're talking about the Askren family, because we got Ben Askren, we got Sean O'Malley, we got Chase Hooper. It's a bad joke, but it's also a good joke. You know what I'm talking about.
Let's go. Right on cue. I love it.
We got the Askren family photo here. You can send that one for Christmas. again, you got to think Ben Askren's very, very proud at home. All jokes aside here, Chase Hooper versus Jordan Levit will go down in the history books as arguably one of my favorite grappling fights in the UFC in the last couple years. And since we literally said that we're going to talk about the fights that we're thankful for in 2023, I'm going to say this is probably one of the fights that I'm weirdly enough thankful for. Give it up for Chase Hooper and Jordan Levit, folks.
You're feeling good.
A shot for it.
Well, let's go. This is the season.
Dude, okay, I'm being honest with you. Like these grappling exchanges were just absolutely impressive to me. And maybe it's because I'm no fucking Max Meridian here. All right. Shout out to the guy. But as a striking, more striking proficient guy myself, that is simply a fan of the grappling, I got to be honest with you when I tell you, I was dancing around like Brandon Moreno when I was watching that fight. Them grappling exchanges were nasty, bro. And there were times where like they were getting out of things, and I was just like, "What the fuck? How the hell?" Seriously though, like it was absolutely incredible. Chase Hooper got himself out of some nasty situations. Like there was one moment where I think there were probably like 3 different submission threats in a matter of like 30 seconds. It was wild. It was wild, man. I had a lot of fun watching that matchup. And then somehow there was an even better grappling matchup in the very same fight card. We'll go over that in just a couple fights here, though. That being said, Chase Hooper at lightweight. He's a beast. He's a fun fighter to watch. I don't know if he's a champion material right now, but I do think that he can be in the future, right? I'm glad that he changed his nickname from the Teenage Dream to the Dream. At 24 years of age, he's not a teenager anymore. You want to feel even older? This kid was born in 1999. So there we go. Sheesh. And not only was he born in 1999, but he's had 17 fights professionally. So what the fuck are you doing with your life? Right? He's on a 3-fight win streak here, guys. He got a win over Clay Guida in a grappling match at Fury Pro Grappling. I count it. It counts. Okay. And then after that, he got a win over Nick Fiore. UFC Fight Night, he got that unanimous decision, got the UNAN. And then, of course, the RNC, just chef's kiss, brilliant work, surgical on the mat with Jordan Levit. He made Jordan make mistakes, and it was very nice to see. He utilized the ground and pound when he needed to. He threw strikes when he needed to open the guard. Everything he did was with purpose. You love to see that. What do I want to see next for the young man? Lightweight is arguably, and maybe this is just me being biased here because I have a lot of favorites in this division, but lightweight is probably the most stacked division in the entirety of the UFC. But, it's just super stacked. I don't want to see him fight a top 15 fighter.
No.
Like the only top 15 fighter I could even plausibly see him fight is a Hinato Moicano, and I don't think that's a good matchup for him at all.
No. When you look at Chase, I hate to say it, man, he just looks like a little boy against a lot of those guys. I mean, those are grown men. I mean, we're talking about.
He looked like a child.
I mean, he does, bro. And strength wise, we're talking about Michael Chandler, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Islam, Jalen Turner. Benoit Saint Denis, like these guys are like literal killers. These are grown men. It's like daddy strength or something. I look at Chase Hooper, I'm like, there's no way. And at the end of the day, you can be great on the ground. There's other tacticianers on the ground though. He's not like he's not some world beater. He's not next level. Again, Charles Oliveira, Du Bronx. There's Beneil Dariush. There's a lot of dudes that just are nasty on the ground. And then they could beat your ass with their hands too. The thing is, or their feet, heads, shoulders, knees, and toes. They got a mad arsenal. Rafael Fiziev. Come on. What does Chase have for that? I mean, we got to keep dreaming here, brother. I need to see more. No answer. That's what his cam's thinking when they're like, all right, well, if it's not 15, what do we do here? Okay.
I'm going to make the worst possible joke in MMA history here and say that, I mean, you just said the name Benoit Saint-Denis, and in the same sentence as Chase Hooper. And all I could think is instantaneously here, if Benoit Saint-Denis fought Chase Hooper, he'd probably have to change his name to Benoit CTE because of the amount of damage he would do to the young man. And I like Chase Hooper. I'm a big fan of him. But, man, I don't want to see those types of matchups. Man, I don't know.
It'd be Benoit Saint manslaughter is what it'd be.
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for him to fill out and fill up.
Develop some striking skills. That's the thing. Boxing. I mean, go to like Tiger Muay Thai. Develop something where you can really, use that length to your advantage.
You're trying to get the young man killed in a camp. He's not even gonna make it to the fight.
If he can make it out, he'll be a champion. If he can make it out, he'll be a champion.
So you want to see him at Tiger Muay Thai?
Use those limbs. Use those elbows. Something. Why not? Do a camp out there. I mean, take some time off.
I'd like to see him go to Uriah Faber's gym, Team Alpha.
Ooh.
I think that'd be a solid gym for him. I think they'd sharpen him up, and they also have a lot of people that are his weight class.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, Tiger Muay Thai has people like Piotr Jan and stuff like that, but. Oh,
Andre
boy,
Touchy-Feely, a few guys out there.
Yeah.
Garbrandt, he's still fighting.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like that'd be a solid place for him. Song Yadong would be a solid training partner for him that wouldn't go overly hard with him, that would know how to sharpen him up without hurting him. Mm-hmm. And, iron does sharpen iron. I feel like he'd be able to help them out with some of their jiu-jitsu stuff. He's got very, very weird transitions and, like, I don't know. I don't even know what to call him.
He's so long. Like,
surgical
he can do
methodology
a lot.
Yeah, and I think he would teach them maybe things that they haven't already seen before. So I think they'd be able to sharpen each other.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we got a shot for that guy. Oh yeah, you bet on fucking Jordan. God damn it.
Sorry, Bubba.
Between you and me, we literally got every single one wrong, my guy. Because I got to stop doing these with you. This is just a mistake on my behalf. Cheers.
Fatality.
Sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, I feel like I've said this before, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but you really got to start following my lead more on this shit. Holy fuck.
You ain't wrong. I think I did follow your lead on these ones, though, and I'm glad we did, because great co-main and great main.
You didn't. You know what? You actually, I don't know if you did follow my lead on this last one, but man, thank goodness gracious me, this is the final shot of the night because I bet on Jake Matthews here. Thank goodness Michael Morales and his partner here, Nano Jive Turkey, have to do a shot with me.
Of course. That's what we do.
Michael Morales, the young kid. Goodness gracious me, he got it done. And he looked really good out there. There were so many times where, again, I was yelling at the top of my lungs like, mother, keep on throwing. But I mean, like, you can only do so much, right? And Jake was doing a lot. I love the kid. I think he's a phenom. I think he's a beast. Oh boy, oh boy. That being said, he just simply was not able to do enough in these exchanges. And Michael Morales he's a young kid, right? He's just 23 years of age. That's young, dude. Excuse me. I'd love to say I can't remember what I was doing when I was 23, but I can. I can remember exactly what I was doing. I was paying close attention to a woman who was way out of my league and then wooing her for the next rest of my life. So you know what? Different stories for different people. But this guy, Michael Morales, I don't know if he's wooed somebody or not, but he's wooed the crowd on Saturday night, folks. And I can tell you this, that young man is somebody that I am going to be paying attention to probably for the rest of his career. He is 16-0. He is an absolute phenom. Oh, and by the way, out of his 16 wins, only 4 of them have needed a judge's effing scorecard because he's gotten 11 KOs in one submission. The young man's an absolute beast. I will tell you, he's only had 4 UFC fights. He's got a 50% finish ratio in the UFC specifically, which again is pretty damn good. That being said, he beat my guy Jake Matthews, which sucks for me because I had Jake Matthews on the DraftKings, and I also had Jake Matthews on the shot pour. So I'm gonna have to pour up a shot here, and that effing sucks. But it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. And you know what we say here at the MMAnomaly Show, no filter. A bet made, a debt paid. So I'm going to pour that up. And while I pour that up, Nano, Hot Mike, what stood out to you the most about the contest between these two folks that literally only had 2 takedown attempts across 15 minutes?
That's what shocked me the most. And I think that the reason why Jake Matthews maybe went away from that game plan, because you got to think, hey, you don't want to sit there and trade off for 15 minutes with someone like this, someone that's this athletic, that's this strong, that's this rangy, and that's looking to knock you out. I mean, 11 finishes. Yeah, what are we talking about here? And I think it boils down to, and what impressed me the most was, in fact, Michael Morales' athleticism. I mean, his ability to and willingness to throw these flying knees and just, I think just his presence in front of Jake made him deviate from the plan. Didn't want to like risk getting hit by a knee, didn't want to risk getting hit by an uppercut. And I also think that Michael's pace and his just awkwardness, and again his feints and his explosiveness was just, it's a lot to deal with, right? It's like sometimes when you're in front of someone like that in the octagon, I mean, almost, I'm trying to like make an analogy. What it's like, I don't know, being on the court with someone that has really good handles. It's like being out there trying to chase someone that's just a little bit faster than you. You just can't touch them. Being in the octagon with someone that you know has so many weapons and so many ways to hurt you, you tend to be a little trigger shy, right? You're not as likely to take those risks. And Jake Matthews, I mean, he's still a young guy. He's 28 years old, 29 years old, but he's a veteran in the UFC. He's been in there against the who's who's. He's been in there against some heavy punchers. He's been in there against some grapplers. He's been in there against some jiu-jitsu guys. But something about Michael Morales, man, the way he mixes it up. I mean, he's huge. For his age, he looks big. He looks strong. And he's athletic. And again, he was able to mix him up just enough. And I think that's, again, he was able to just use his size and his speed to intimidate Jake Matthews and get him off his game. It sounds weird. That's probably the best way I could describe it. Because when you're watching the fight, you're thinking, okay, like there's opportunities, but Jake just didn't want to take those risks. And maybe he got hit with some shots early. Maybe he realized, okay, this guy can hit me hard. And man, I mean, just the kid's legit. I mean, maybe there's no other way. There's no other excuses, right? Someone like Jake Matthews that can do it all, that is proven to be able to stand toe to toe with the who's who. Michael Morales was able to go in there and let him know, like, hey, I'm just one step ahead, right? We're not going to get in a slugger's match here, but I'm clearly winning this fight. And man, I mean, sky's the limit for this kid. I don't know if he's exactly ready. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't know if he's ready for the top 15, but I don't know if that's the best next step for his career. Maybe he does take that next stepping stone or that top 20 guy, someone that's knocking on the door, and then that will then catapult him into that conversation. But I mean, when you look at that list, I mean, everyone, it feels like to me is like a big name, like a household name in this welterweight division. It's stacked. I mean, Ian Machado Gary sitting there at 10, Jack Della Maddalena at 11, Kevin Holland at 12, Neil Magny, Michael Chiesa. And obviously we talked about Renat Fakhretdinov earlier. I mean, these guys are studs. Some of these guys are legends. I mean, as you get even higher, I mean, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's in there at 6, Gilbert Burns at 4, Colby's fighting soon against Leon for the title. I mean, this division is a murderer's row. But Michael Morales, man, this guy looks strong. He looks tough, and he's someone to be reckoned with. So I think he's one fight away from cracking that top 15. What do you think, brother?
I mean, first of all, we gotta give the flowers where they're due, folks. Of course, we're talking about for Nano here. That was a great breakdown, man. Love that. I thought that was all on point stuff. I think if there is a name on the tip of my tongue, folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fight fans of all shapes, sizes, ages, and designations, it's your favorite guy who's willing to fight every up-and-comer he probably shouldn't fight, Neil Magny.
Let's go.
You know what it's about. Neil Magny's never going to say no to an up-and-comer, even when he should. He's going to do it anyway. And that's the story of Neil Magny, unfortunately. It is what it is. So, that being said, did you pour yours up? Last one to do. Now this is the one that he has to follow me into. I think we're like 4 in for this guy. Fucking Nano. Cheers, brother.
We'll get him next time.
I certainly hope so. It's a big card, so we're going to have a lot of bets.
Oh, yeah.
Be looking for my sanity like, where are you? That was awesomely timed. Did you see?
A great
You
drop.
got choked a little bit.
Oh yeah,
so good.
That sparkling water
So good.
came back on me.
Went down the wrong pipe. Like,
Oh yeah.
so again, we got to move into this main event of the evening, folks. You already know. We didn't have Bruce Buffer in the building, but we had the other guy asking Vegas if you are ready.
Well, that's an interesting. How do you feel about that? I don't think I've ever asked you. Do you like it? It's growing on me a little bit.
You are ready. I love it, dude.
I don't think you could do it in the Apex. That's my only caveat with him. Obviously,
so
he
I
has to do
actually
it,
like it the most at the Apex.
because you hear
It's
a couple
my
people.
favorite when he does. You hear the 5 people in the Apex like, oh, let's fucking go, dude.
You hear that? Woo! Yeah. Let's go. Beat his ass. Just go. Woo! Hey.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Grab a stick and twist it.
whoa. What's this? Great reference.
I don't think you can do that, dude.
I don't think it's legal, bro.
No joke. At both or wait. Damn, I wish I knew if Drew was in the chat so he could confirm this or not. But I know we've been to at least 3 events. And I know that for a fact at 2 of the events, there was a grab his dick and twist it guy in the crowd.
That's gone on too far.
I kid you not. I kid you not.
There's always one.
It's a real thing. It's so good. And like it always catches and like someone else echoes it. It's always so good. And they always end up doing it at the perfect time. Like it's so silent. You can hear a pin drop. It's like, it's perfect.
I love it.
So that being said, we're going to move into the main event of the evening. MMAnomaly Show No Filter fans, make some noise if you are ready.
That was fucking good. That was fucking good. Oh my god. You got that down, brother.
Post it on Twitter, baby.
Oh, I'm gonna do a side by side, brother. That was you got the cadence down at a minimum. Oh my god! Wow.
If you are ready. So that being said, we got the main event, folks. Brendan All In Allen, folks, versus Paul Craig. Which, if you don't say Paul Craig's name like that, folks, the only person you're doing a disservice to is you. It's just a fact. And again, if you're a middleweight and you signed the dotted line to fight Brendan All In Allen, the only person you're doing a disservice to is you. Because the man is an absolute stud. I've been calling this for some time. Folks, do you know where he's from? No, do you know where he's from?
You heard me. From Louisiana.
You heard me. Shout out. Lego. Bro, I've been trying to tell you about them boys from the South. You know what I'm saying? We got that Southern boy strength, and he's got it in spades. And on top of that, he's trained with people like Dustin Poirier. Like, I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 fights in, they panned to Dustin Poirier in the crowd. And he's like doing his little like let's go, little fucking flex and smile thing that he does. And Mayor's like, dude, what's Dustin doing there? Does he have a fight coming up or like an announcement to make, or is he just there to like to support? And I was like, yeah, he's there for Brendan Allen. I mean, shout out. They've trained together for years. They trained at Dustin Poirier's gym in Louisiana. They've trained at American Top Team. Like, people can say that this guy trains at Duke Rufus, but come on, he trains with real talent too. Sorry, Duke. But
dude, he's trained with Chael Sonnen and those boys back in the day as well. This guy, Brendan Allen, man, he's a guy. He's been around the game for a long time. Mm-hmm. I believe I heard Chael talking about
up there.
Yeah, like all those dudes. Oh, man, I forget the camp that he was talking about, but there's some other
Kill
heavy name. Yep. The OGs.
Kill MMA is one of the old names that whatchamacallit, Henry Hooft used to have, I believe. But I mean, this guy's trained with a lot of people. He's trained with Duke Rufus. He's trained with like ATT. He's trained a lot of places. But again, I believe he's fighting out of Florida, and he lives in Louisiana or is from Louisiana. Dude's an absolute beast. I think he's from Covington, Louisiana, which definitely have had a lot of stories in Covington. But that's for another podcast. So we'll talk about the fight here, which was between who was supposed to be a submission stud in Paul Craig coming in against the boy from the South and Brendan Allen. And redneck grappling seemed to prevail because Paul Craig went 0 for 2 in takedowns, while Brendan All-In Allen, he was all in on them takedowns, folks. That son went 2 for 2 on takedowns. You heard me? And here's the thing: 64 strikes thrown, 52 landed. That's over an 81% clip, folks. That again is significant. And he held his opponent to 21 strikes thrown, 13 landed. So again, he outlanded his opponent almost 5-1. Pretty damn savage. And when it comes to significant strikes, 32-6. Again, very savage. Now, I want to talk about one specific exchange that happened, right? Brendan Allen, and I could be wrong about this, because I did not go back and rewatch these fights. I did only watch them once. Usually I like to watch the fights twice at least before we have these podcasts, sometimes 3 times. But again, I digress. I will probably go back and watch it on Thanksgiving. So, Brendan All-In Allen, if I'm not mistaken, he was going for a guillotine. And his opponent ended up grabbing a leg somehow, right? And here's the thing. He started getting the leg. Once he went for the heel hook, Brendan Allen snuck around the back, went for I believe a calf slicer to force. Or no, sorry, that's what it was. That's what it was. Paul Craig was going for a calf slicer. Brendan Allen disengaged what he was doing to then go for a heel hook. And when I say heel hook, I mean he was just trying to just twist the bone off the fucking flesh. It was disgusting in the best MMA way. And it forced Paul Craig to let go. And ultimately it made holes for Brendan Allen to escape, get to a better position or a more favorable position. And the man known as All-In got it done via rear naked choke submission. And just honestly, 38 seconds into round 3, it was beautifully done. Made it look surgical once they got into that 3rd round. But the way he survived in the 2nd round and the way that he put it on him in the 1st round, those were my 2 biggest takeaways from this fight. Nano, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, brother, I appreciate that breakdown. I mean, my couple cents. I mean, Brendan Allen, what a freaking dog. I was nervous about Paul Craig going in there, not only because of his grappling pedigree and his jiu-jitsu, I mean, exceptional ground game there, but he's also coming from the light heavyweight division. So I thought this guy's big, he's strong. He stared him down. He did not want to touch gloves with him before. And maybe that came back to bite him because Brendan Allen, maybe that was just that little extra edge that he needed. Because Brendan, like all those guys from the South, man, you know, brother, they're cut a little different, man. They're able to dig a little deeper. They take things personal, and they don't forget shit, man. You give them a freaking chip on their shoulder, and they'll run with that. They don't need any more excuses. But if you give them a reason, Lord knows they're going to run with it, and they're going to go ahead and make you feel stupid about it. But again, I mean, from a like high level, I mean, he was just beating him everywhere it went. I mean, obviously on the feet, he looked way better. And one thing I liked about his striking the most was he was ripping the body. He was taking his wheels out of him. And then he was throwing them around and getting on top of them. There were some scrambles. There were some leg locks, some heel hooks. There was some reversals. There was some scrambling, which is to be expected. But Brandon never felt like he was not in the proper position. Like Paul Craig was doing the best he could, but it was him trying to fight for air. And it was Brendan Allen's game. It was his match to lose. And again, his ability to throw strikes from a variety of positions, to be able to inflict damage. And one of the things that stuck out to me in the commentary was, it's one thing to get to the ground and maybe feel like you need to advance positions or get to the full mount or be super aggressive on the ground and pound, but not always, right? I mean, you got to know your opponent. And at the end of the day, you got to fight smart. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, he's still found a finish. So boring or not, or I like to think of it as just not overextending yourself and sticking in a position that it's like playing chess, right? I mean, yeah, you can move your queen across the entire board. Yeah, you can do these fancy moves. Sometimes you need to just move the pawn one move and wait for your opponent to make a mistake. And I think that was what was going on there a little bit. I appreciated the commentator group mentioning that, hey, it's not just about advancing or moving or just throwing punches or, hitting the thigh to look like you're doing something. It's like, no, it's wasted movement. He's in there with another high-level grappler. Not something to mess with. Get the victory. He found the finish. And, I mean, what a phenomenal outing. I mean, he's ready. Like, in my head, this guy's been doing it for a long time. Brendan has a lot of fights under his belt. He's called out a Martin Vittori. He's called out a Jared Cannonier. And now those are the guys that's in the conversation. I know he's sitting there at 8. And if they're the top 5, maybe you don't want to give this guy a favor, right? But, man, would I love to see Brendan Allen get that chance, man. I know there's a lot of contenders here. This division has a lot going on, especially with Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis fighting soon. What's going to happen after that? Who's going to be that number one title contender fight? That number one contender fight for the title. Let me rephrase. And Brendan called out for it. And hey, I mean, why not put his name in the ring there? There are only a few other people, and it might be Jared, it might be Martin. Or Marvin, excuse me. Martin. Do you have a pick, though? Do you have a horse in this race or anything you want to see next for Brendan? All in, Allen?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I actually do. I do have a horse in this race. I do have a name at the tip of my tongue. Again, before I get into that, I got to give a round of applause to you. I feel like that was a great breakdown, and I do really like the names that you have. Granted, I feel like you're leaning, and correct me if I'm wrong here, you're more so leaning into the names that he called out, correct?
I believe so. Yeah. I mean, he called them out. It makes sense, right? I mean, obviously he's looking at guys that are at the top there. And when I broke it down a little bit more, I thought, man, both these guys need a dance partner. Both of these guys and the UFC are looking for a number one contender fight, especially with Rob coming off a loss, although he always deserves that. Maybe you switch it up a little bit unless Rob answers that call. I mean, those are two guys that I'd love to see get it back in there for a definitive number one contender. What do you think, brother?
I mean, again, I'm not mad at those. I do like the fact that you're going with who he called out. I'm not mad at that by any means at all. But I do have a little bit of a different name on the tip of my tongue.
Ooh, okay. Not going to grant him his wish here. What are you thinking? I'm
not going to grant him his wish here. I'm going to change the game a little bit here. I'm going to change it up. I'm going to call out a little bit of a wild card, a little bit of a wild west matchup here. I'm going to draw a line in the sand maybe. to call out Robert Whittaker, the Reaper himself.
Oh, that is a true number one.
The only thing that makes sense is a number one contender title shot to get that rematch against Sean Strickland. And I think the only thing that makes sense in this case is that match against Robert Whittaker, the Reaper. What do you think about that matchup?
Dude, I love that. I love that. Rob has beat Jared. Rob has beat Marvin. Rob has beat just about everybody and anybody except Israel Adesanya and Dricus du Plessis, who just had a powerful performance over Rob back in, when was this? July of 2023. That's a great one. I think that would be a true number one contender fight. My thoughts is just, is that what Rob wants? I think that's my only question. Is this what Rob wants? Is he ready to get back in there, put that loss behind him? Or, I don't know, man. Is he coasting off in the sunset? Where is his head at? Where is his motivation? That's my only concerns with Rob. I don't know where he's at. Is he ready to climb Mount Everest again?
I would assume the answer is going to be no, if I'm being completely honest here. That being said, folks, that's it for the fight card. But we did say this is a Thanksgiving, not really a Thanksgiving episode, but it is, the last episode before the giving of thanks. You know what I'm saying here? So
absolutely,
we would be crazy if we didn't talk about some of the fights from 2023 that we are most thankful for. So that being said, I am going to go ahead and jump into this. I'll take the lead. I'll let you start off with your favorite MMA fight. I'm not going to steal that thunder from you with mine, but I would be remiss if I didn't give honorable mention before we even kick off our favorite MMA fights, or fights rather we're most thankful for in 2023. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention honorably this boxing match between Devin Haney and Vasyl Lomachenko. What an absolute barn burner of a match. Devin Haney ended up getting the win via a unanimous decision. Personally, I thought it could have gone either way. Very, very close to contested match. I mean, one man is 11 years older than the opposition. Just an absolute inspiration to the old dogs for folks like me when it comes to going against young folks like Nano. Bless you, my friend. Bless you, bless you, bless you. That being said, Nano, we're probably going to have the viewers vote and become voters to see whether or not we should make the trip to Thailand at some point and hit that bar. I feel like sparring at that Thailand bar, just one good time, would make for a really, really good content. We can make a lot of shorts from.
Oh, yeah.
And it'd also be a really fun drunken time.
That'd be a phenomenal time. All we need is one like, ladies and gentlemen, and we are out to Thailand. So that's the quota. We just need one. Don't tell me it's a good time. Come on. We will do this after the weddings, and man, yeah, we'll literally of course call us Mario because we'll be jumping on a plane. This is gonna happen, baby. I've always wanted to go to Thailand. I think it'd be a great time. We'll do like a drop-in class at a Muay Thai gym the day before, and then we'll hit that bar either the night of or the next night. Dude, I'm telling you right now, banger. Let's go.
That's going to be the best fight of 2024. I'm telling you. So again, that being said, Nano, let's hear it, brother. Hot Mike tagging you in. You're up. Let's hear the air horns. Let's hear the fucking Bruce.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
And we're ringing the bell. It's time.
There are a lot of great fights this year, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of great fights in 2023. But I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit. I'm going to take the easy way out here. I'm going to take what will go down historically in the 30 years of the UFC is, maybe a top 5. Maybe top 10 for sure in terms of narrative. Because we're talking about, at the time, number 1 versus number 2 pound-for-pound fighters in the UFC. I'm sorry, brother. I see you kicking and screaming. I know I took your fight. This is the obvious one, though. Am I right? Maybe we just need to give thanks to and be thankful for the obviously best legendary fight, and that is Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. I almost dropped the Charles Oliveira in there. Oh my God. Backtrack a little bit here. Islam versus Alex 1. Not this last fight, ladies and gentlemen. Not number 2. 1 earlier this year. 25 minutes of just high-level MMA. I want to hear your breakdown. Obviously, you have more to say about this one, brother, because this is yours as well. But in my opinion, I mean, this is a legendary fight. This is one that I'll turn on the tape and show the kids. That'll probably be Scott McMahon in like 9 to 10 years. Tell them. Can't talk about that because that's how emotional, that's how invested I am in that.
I wish
fight.
I had the music from that meme queued up. We need to talk about these before.
We will. We'll add that one. You surprised me. You've been on it all day, brother. Huge shout out. Very thankful for your drops. But I mean, how is that not the best fight of this year? How's that not the best fight of the 2020s? How is that not just one of the best fights we've ever seen? I mean, 2 of the best going at it, and it was down to last minute. And the guy that we thought was losing almost won, or did he win? Who knows? We still don't know. That's like the Michael Jordan Kobe debate. I mean, it's like there's never an answer. We just will never know. I mean, we know Islam obviously won, and then he validated it. But what are your thoughts on that fight overall, man?
Man, I'm going to be honest. Can we just rewind to the moment where you stole my favorite fight of the year? You know what I'm saying?
You would have went first then, huh? If you'd have known.
Man, would I have? You're definitely not wrong. I definitely would have went first. So, man, that was easily my number 1 fight. The way that Islam Makhachev was able to set up that kick, he threw, I think, like 3 to 4 leg kicks and like 2 to 3 body kicks. He just kept setting it up, tap, 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 making his opponent block lower and lower and lower, and then clap. And mind you, Alexander Volkanovski, he was number 1 pound for pound for a gosh darn reason, okay? His guard was low, and he's like, oh no, it's coming high. And he started to raise his guard, and Islam's like, that's okay. I'm going to adjust and just lift my kick about an inch higher. Clip, hit him right on the top of the noggin, knocked him the hell out, and that's murder, she wrote, folks. And that's what made it so brilliant. Not that it was such a brilliant knockout, not that it was so beautiful to witness as a knockout, but the fact that he set it up so magnificently. Now, if we're talking about other fights that really had me on the edge of my seat, if I'm being honest, most of the easy picks are going to be title fights. Am I right, Nano? Is that fair to say?
That is fair, because there were some big title fights. Obviously, Izzy and Alex twice. I mean, come on, there's some big ones, but
Izzy
I think
and
I know where
Sean,
you're going.
I mean, I don't think you know where I'm going. I think you have no fucking idea where I'm going, if I'm being
I know where
completely
I'm
honest.
going, and I hope it's not the same direction you're going. Tell me. Lay it
There's
on
no
me.
chance. There's no chance. If we're going the same direction, bro, it's just a hive mind effect. And as much as I would love that, I just think there's not a goddamn chance in hell. I'm going to go with just a crazy off the wall one here and say Jeff Neal, the real deal, coming in against Shavkat Rakhmonov. Was that the one you were going with? No chance. Stop.
I have the highlights pulled up. I swear.
Bro. Are you kidding me?
I swear. I was
You have
UFC
got to be kidding me.
285.
There's literally no chance. Dude, we didn't even talk about
choices.
this.
They're the obvious choices, though, it feels like. No?
I love you so much right now. I feel like this is a proud father moment. Are you kidding me?
I love
That's
it.
incredible.
I love it.
My gosh. This is the epic
bro.
turkey moment of the episode. My God.
Hey.
Dude. I honestly, like, I'm at a loss of words.
No, honestly,
I genuinely can't believe.
and I was going to lead off with, like, in terms, like, we just cover the best, like, technical fight. But if we're just talking about the best brawl, like, the best, like, viewers brawl, and as soon as you said, like, on the edge of our seat, I remember jumping up, and I was in the living room at my boy Victor's house where I was just at, with my other boy Felipe, who trains, and we're there, we're watching it, and we jump up. I mean, Jeff Neal rocked in Shavkat, Shavkat rocking Jeff Neal. I mean, it was like that. What's that game?
As Kenny Florian would say,
robots.
it's Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yes, Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
I was literally queuing up the Kenny Florian quote before you even said the little, what's that game? That was perfect.
We just had our Eddie Florian moment. Let's go. Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
It's Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
What a great, I can't believe that. Dude, and that was Duffy, right? That he was saying? Speaking of Duffy,
yep.
Dude, Duffy, BKFC, good God, with hair. Looking like John Cena.
Looking like Tarzan. Oh, okay. I mean, Tarzan, John Cena. I'll take it either way. I mean, he looked like he's ready to find Jane, dude.
Oh, absolutely. He definitely, Tarzan's a better one. Tarzan's a better one. But I can't believe he's back.
Either Duffy. Way, he was cracking coconuts, brother.
Either way, he's going to get his face smashed. That is crazy. We should break that one down soon, huh? BKFC, that's coming up.
I'm down, dude. I'm down for BKFC. I'm down.
Well, some times on our hands, but hey, we're both very thankful for the same fights this year. That's hilarious.
Shavkat Rockman, that's fucking hilarious. I'm like, all right, there's maybe, I literally, when I wrote down my notes today, I kid you not, I was like, okay, there's maybe a chance that he picks my number one fight. But I was like, all right, my number two is like unique. It's MMAnomaly. Like, it's MMA, but it's an anomaly. It's outside of the norm. It wouldn't be everyone else is different. And I'm like, bro, how the actual fuck? I'm genuinely shocked, bro. But like, for me, same thing. Like, I was watching that fight and I remember being genuinely like concerned for Shavkat, because like you said, Jeff Neal was throwing bombs. Dude was throwing lead, haymakers, bat, bat, bat. Like he was, dude, lead in the hands, venom in the shots. He was trying to hurt his opponent with almost every single shot, right? So his opponent, though, looked like an absolute banger. Shavkat Rakhmonov, you know who we're talking about, 17-0, Mr. fucking banger finisher himself. By the way, 100% finish rate. And I'm not talking in the UFC, I'm talking in MMA. Shavkat Rakhmonov has never fought professionally and not finished the fight. Oh, by the way, he's never fought professionally and not won the fight. 8 KOs or TKOs, 9 submissions, 0 decisions. He is the epitome of Dana White's favorite style of fighter, and that is a finisher. That is an exciting fighter. And what the fuck did he do when he went in there against a game opponent who was not willing to take no for an answer, who was not willing to go to sleep, who was not willing to get put away by strikes? He couldn't even take him down, folks. He went 0 for 4 on fucking takedowns. For the first time in his professional career, he found someone he could not get to the mat. What does he do? He keeps him standing and he still fucking submits him. He choked him out standing the F up with less than 30 seconds to go in the fight. Sorry, less than 40 seconds to go in the fight. Come on. Folks, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Bonkers. Sorry, I don't want to quote. I don't want to state misfacts. It was 43 seconds left in the damn fight, but still.
And he Big Brother choked him. I don't even know. It's like the Shavkat choke. I don't know what you call that. The Big Brother choke here. Dude. It was nasty.
It was
nothing pure violence.
Nasty.
Do you have a third one in mind that sticks out? I feel like now that we have 2 of the same, maybe we need to try to get to a point where we finally divert a little bit. Is there any other ones that come to mind?
Okay. I did have a third one on the tip of my tongue. It's I think more for shock value than absolute like fight banger value. And this one is more of an obvious one, so I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be less surprised if you had this one on your list than I am that you have the second one and the first one on there. And that's Sean Strickland versus Israel Adesanya.
Not mine, but big shocker. Huge shocker.
I think it's also because I got to enjoy it with Drew and I got to watch it with, the Black Hato. I got to watch it with Authentic Z. Like, I got to watch it with a lot of the homies from out in the area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I love that.
It was nice. It was nice. We got to enjoy it for old time's sakes at Buffalo Wild Wings. I asked them if I could get the poster from the event as we were walking out, and they were like, "Yeah, we're just going to throw it in the trash can." So they gave me 2 of them, and I gave one to Drew.
Sick. They're gonna throw away. What the heck?
Dude, so fun fact, I was going through my posters, laying them out how I want to organize them in the background for the future. And I realized I have gotten 3 of them. Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman, 1.
Oh, sick.
First time Anderson Silva lost like that ever. GSP versus Johnny Hendricks.
That's fire. That's straight fire.
And Sean Strickland versus Israel Adesanya. So basically, every time I go to a Buffalo Wild Wings, there is an upset, like a significant upset.
Wow. Yeah.
Isn't that insane? Like those are the 3.
Wild. That is wild. Jeez. I mean, that's so
like
cool.
Ronda Rousey versus Miesha Tate 1 in the UFC is on the undercard poster, like as the co-main event for the Anderson Silva one. So sick.
That is fucking baller. That's baller.
Yeah. I'm gonna hang all those up behind me in the background at some point. I just need to get frames for those.
Ah, damn, I'm gonna have to get one now too, man. Because the only UFC event I went to was with Amy, and that was UFC 269, and that was Oliveira versus Dustin. Unfortunately, obviously, not ideal, but I know.
You're the chosen one, Anakin.
You were chosen, and Amanda got upset by Juliana Pena that night. Seeing that in person was wild. You want to talk about hearing and like
you were there like in person?
Yes, we were in Vegas. That was like my Amy's birthday gift a couple years ago.
I hate that.
Fire. Sugar Sean was on that card. Tai Tuivasa was on that card.
I'm so happy you told me that, bro, because like me and you still have yet to go to a live event together, and I will never invite you to a Dustin Poirier event now.
I'm bad luck. Honestly, if that means he wins, then I will happily opt out.
I feel like the laugh soundbite is like your favorite one.
It's me. that's my life. I do always giggle here.
It's pretty good.
It's been dead on.
So what was your third pick? Let's hear it.
Well, I was gonna say honestly, I was gonna say both Alexa Grasso performances. Just thankful for Alexa Grasso, I think was the ultimate sentiment. I mean, the fact that she beat and upset Valentina the first time, and then she came back around, was able to do it again, even though it was close. I mean, a lot of controversy, but the reality is I'm thankful that we have at least one Mexican champion still remaining. At one point there were 3.
It's crazy that both happened in 2023.
That's just crazy, man. Big year. I know, man.
Yeah.
And what's even wilder with the first time that she upset Valentina, that fight, that card, I mean, sometimes you do our DraftKings betting. I bet all the favorites, and I hit on 8 of the 10. That was the 9th leg. Next was John Jones, and I was gonna take it home. It was gonna be like a $1 bet for like 10,000, whatever it was, maxed out, and it didn't win it because Alexa, my Mexican sister, decided no fortunes for you. I'm gonna go ahead and take that away. So I'll never forget that for that reason, but also one Mexican champ still survived, defended it twice, and just a great year for her. Great year for her. Thankful that she was able to retain her title and still have some bragging rights.
I'm pretty sure you'll remember this. I have to share this because it's a relatable instance. I know you'll remember this because we definitely talked about it, and we talked about this.
Oh yeah.
The closest I've ever come to hitting very, very big was I think it was a $10 bet to win $22,500, and we ended up betting it twice, so it was 20 to win 45,000. And we hit 6 out of 7 picks. And listeners, do you want to know what the 7th pick was? It was Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes, which I just found out that fucking this guy was at.
Oh no! I saw that this dissipate in real time. Oh no!
It was a sad night.
Oh no! I'm so sorry. Yeah, again, I mean, you were probably just like half the crowd, and I'm sure there were a lot of yous in that crowd because it was. I mean, I've never felt a crowd just like stadium just go silent. I mean, flat. Like there was so much buzz, all these knockouts, all this fun stuff. And then it was like, it got silent. And then it was like 1, 2. And then you could like hear, then you could like almost hear the corners. And we're up there. It's not like we're in the VIP section there. I mean, it was flat. And boy, that was, I'm going to need to get that one. I'll probably get that one on this wall right here somewhere.
I want to say that it was, if I remember correctly, it was like, who was it? Tai Tuivasa, Dominic Cruz, Josh Emmett.
Garbrandt was on that one too. Cody Garbrandt was on there, and he got beat by Kai Kara France.
Cody Garbrandt was on there, and I bet on Kai Kara France against him.
Good one.
I think that was the one time I've ever, the one of 2 times I've ever bet on Sean O'Malley. I bet on Jeff Neal over Santiago Ponzinibbio.
Nice.
And I bet on I bet on Amanda Nunes, and I stayed away from the Dustin Poirier fight. And then Juliana Pena blew it, and it was only $20, but it's also only 45,000.
I know, to be that close, if you feel it, if you feel it a little bit. Oh man, that dagger in the heart for sure. Oh man, that's why we love this sport, right? And here we are. Yeah, here we are, not jaded at all. We still love it. We still come back for more. We still get back up.
We are still ripping and roaring and ready for 2 weeks from now?
Absolutely, man. That won't come soon enough, man.
Speaking of weeks, it'll definitely sneak up on us before we know it. That's going to be a banger of a card. I literally just mentioned Miesha Tate versus Ronda Rousey. Speak of the devil, because she's fighting in 2 weeks against Julia Avila on the undercard.
Let's go.
This is another one that's got a lot of sleepers on it. We, if I'm being completely honest here, we do have as much as in this case specifically, I really hate to admit it, we do have a little bit of breaking news here, guys. Dan Hooker is out of his November 2nd fight against Bobby Green. He has pulled out today.
December 2nd.
Undisclosed reasons. Yep. Just in 2 weeks. He just pulled out right now. I'm assuming they're probably going to move the co-main event between Rob Font and Davison Figueiredo into the co-main event slot. But I do think they'll probably try and find a backup fight for Bobby Green. I think, in my humble opinion, it's a name that I mentioned earlier in this podcast as someone that shouldn't fight someone else. I think Hinato Money Moicano should step up and fight Bobby King Green on short notice if he really wants money, like he says. If he's about that money, do it, man. Fight Bobby Green for the co-main event here at UFC Fight Night. Dariush versus Sarukian Nano. What's your most exciting fight on this upcoming card?
Man, this is a good one coming up here. I mean, that Dan Hooker Bobby Green sounds fire, but yeah, hey, Sean Brady versus Kelvin Gastelum, I think that has fireworks written all freaking over it, bro. Kelvin looked fire in his last fight, beating Chris Curtis. Sean Brady is an absolute dog, and I know he's coming out looking for revenge, man. Sean Brady, 15-1, coming off that loss. He wants to come back and avenge that. So against Bilal, that is. So I mean, that's it. I mean, that's no slump, but boy, that's one that I've definitely circled, and I can't wait to break down with you, brother, after this holiday. But man, Dan Hooker's out. Bobby Green's already, going to the X and saying, hey, who else is gangsta? Who else is going to step up and take on this challenge? I'd be curious, man. I don't know. I guess RDA threw his hat in the ring there. That'd be fun.
RDA always throws his hat in the ring.
That's what he does. Jared Gordon demands a rematch. You throw Jared Gordon back in there? I'm not mad
at that either. Jared Gordon against Bobby Green? I'm happy with that. That's the move, dude. That could definitely be the move. I wasn't even thinking about that one. Run it back.
Dude, he looked good. He didn't get hurt. As long as he doesn't admit to having a concussion prior to going into the event, let's make sure you're actually healthy. I mean, not to make light of it, but it's like, hey, if he's healthy, which again he's coming off a knockout, he was just in shape. Even if you have to do it at a catch weight, whatever, who cares? Just make it happen. Be gangsta about it. I like that. Terrence McKinney threw his name in the ring too. T-Rex, huh? I mean, whoever's willing to sign the dotted line, right? I mean, I'm curious to know who Dana White and Brass are calling, but Jared Gorin feels like the obvious one, doesn't it? If he's healthy, why not? Throw him back in there.
Oh, absolutely. That feels like the obvious one. I mean, moving into the next fight real quick before we call it quits on this talk here about next week. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves and go over the whole card here.
Of course.
If we're talking about fights that I know are going to be exciting and fights that I already know my bet in the future preference on, it's going to be the under 2.5, and it's going to be the fight as a whole being exciting. And Punahele, story time, Soriano, because you know he puts folks to sleep, coming in against Dustin Stoltzfus, who actually has a knockout win over one of my former coaches that I loved, in Dwight Grant. Or sorry, he actually has a unanimous decision win over him. My apologies. But that being said, between these guys, they have over 30 fights, okay? Over 30 fights. And between the two of them, less than 5 of them have gone to decision. These guys are both finishers. They both like to wear it all out there and leave it all out there on the octagon and on the canvas. That being said, the under 2.5, probably a pretty safe bet. So
I like that.
I think time's going to be on our side. I think the knockouts are going to be on our side. And I think if you want to win some money, probably put a couple of soft units on that. Maybe a couple hard units. I don't know, on that, on the under on that fight. Maybe parlay it with something else that you're very confident in. We'll give you some confident picks on that one too. I personally think the main event, which obviously it's the main event for a reason, Arman Sarukian versus Beneil Dariush, aka Benny from the block, aka one of very few Assyrian fighters in the UFC. Shout out to the man.
Shout out.
I think he's possibly going to be a very big problem for Arman Sarukian. However, Arman Sarukian is definitely the younger fighter, 27 years of age. He's an absolute stud. And even though he is 2 inches shorter, he's got literally a 1.5 inch reach advantage, or a half inch reach advantage. So he's multiple inches shorter, has a slight reach advantage. And it's grappler versus grappler, which typically means it turns into a striking matchup. Mm-hmm. The big thing for me is our guy here, Benny from the block. He's always got the nuclear option. It's terrifying how powerful he is.
Yeah. No, he's a scary individual. And Arman, he has his work cut out for him. This is a huge fight in his career at 27 years old. Obviously, we'll break it down more like stylistically, fundamentally speaking, but this is big. And I mean, Benny from the block is no chip off the old block. I mean, that guy coming off a loss from Charles, you know he's hungry. You know he has that why. You know he's motivated. These are going to be 2 dogs getting after it. So there's going to be a lot of blood. I know that much. Can't wait to break it down with you, brother. And again, I mean, I just want to quickly reiterate, I mean, thankful for the UFC. Thankful for YouTube. Thankful for the MMAnomaly Show. Thankful for Olin. Thankful for you, brother. I mean, allowing me to be a part of this, man. I mean, can't believe how fast time flies, but it feels like yesterday we were taking those BART rides and talking about training, talking about our fighters at the time. You showing me pictures of DC and Islam and the boys, Khabib and the crew. But again, I'm thankful for you, man. Thankful for our friendship. Thankful for the platform. Thankful for Mad Max. Thankful for JJ Smoke. Thankful for Miss Mary. Thankful for Amy. Thankful for everybody that's part of the community. Drew, Eric, Blacado. I feel like I know I'm missing some names. I'm sure you'll pick me up here, but just thankful for everybody and, you know, sticking with us and, you know, bringing nothing but good memories, bringing a smile to my face and allowing us to, you know, share the time with you. So much love, man. Let's go. We need to have this thankfulness happen more often, but hey, once a year, got to get out the formal thank yous and much love, brother.
I couldn't have said that better myself. Let's give it up for the turkey, folks. Absolutely love that guy.
It's my holiday.
I honestly, like, you're thanking me for including you in this. Like, I'm thanking you for being willing to be included in this. Having a co-host makes it extremely fun. Like, whether you're as knowledgeable in the grappling or whatever strikes are going on as I am or not. Like, that doesn't matter so much as the enthusiasm. And that's something that you always bring to the table every single time. Speaking on Thanksgiving. And yeah, there may have been some people that we forgot here. Looking at you, Authentic Z, looking at you, Kansas City Party Boy, you already know what's up. Looking at all you guys and looking at the other, 1,020 people that we didn't name that just watch and lurk and don't comment on the videos and don't participate in the live chat, but at the same time, still tune in after the fact of the live stream, still tune in sometimes during the live stream. Either way, whether you're lurking, whether you're participating in the live chat, we appreciate you. We love you all being a part of this show, being a part of this channel, being a part of this podcast, and most importantly, being a part of our lives and being a part of our growth as hosts and as fans of mixed martial arts. One of the things I say typically at the end of almost every show is keep the passion for mixed martial arts alive. And I love saying that, but something that I've been saying for years on Twitter and I think on Instagram whenever I leave comments on people as well, and I think I'm going to start saying it on the show, is something that I absolutely love and something that I strive to do myself every day, and I hope that my co-host does the same exact thing. I know he does, and that's keep on going and keep on growing, folks. And that's something that we here at the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter, we're going to keep on doing. We're going to keep on keeping on. That's something you can always bank on. And this is probably one of the longest episodes we've done, especially just us two. I think not including the trilogy episode where we had like 5 of us in here. So again, that being said, we appreciate every single one of you for sticking it through, for being here, whether it's in the live show, the post show, whatever show you show up for. We appreciate you for showing up, and we appreciate the support. So again, thanks for being here. Thanks for being fans. And until next week's episode, where we go over the big UFC card that we got coming up and Dariush versus Sarukian, keep on going. Keep on growing.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.